Well, we finally made it to DC. And this is a big place. The computer the computer lab is big. And you have to have you have a key for everything. Every security door just to get in and out. If you don't have a key, you cannot. So, so tomorrow we have some speaking engagements for the. So tomorrow we have speaking engagements for the sex trafficking and labor trafficking. We have been posting flyers up and down the East Coast and to the central part of the country on the way up here. So we are going to tomorrow have a couple meetings, and from there we divide into sections for the fall and the winter activities for posting those new flyers for sex trafficking and the labor trafficking. I posted on Facebook and on YouTube and X some of the new flyers that we put out in some of the rest areas and the public areas in different states. The new runway copies, the green, yellow, and orange one, the new public flyers and posters, they, if you look at the bottom of them, they have instructions for parents what they can do when they're in a public area on how to safeguard their children. So what we're doing up here in DC, there is, let's see, about 14 different countries, representatives who are up here, and they're meeting because, as all of us know, sex trafficking and domestic labor trafficking is international. It is not just something that happens in the United States. So different representatives are up here and they're speaking together. They're getting together. They're going to collaborate. Some of the posters that we put up, I haven't had time to post yet, but they're in different languages. And as everyone knows, DC, I mean, you have like 144 languages that are spoken up in this area. You have every type of ethnicity group there is. So, so the big rollout is for the new international posters and to get those flyers out to the families who need those posters and the different global interstate ports, not just the airlines or different airports, because a lot of the PD hubs, they already have the missing flyer sections in the back of the airport police department. But there's also the waterways, you have the international borders, who are going to be rolling out new missing flyers and new posting flyers with different languages so that we can have individuals who do not speak just English or Spanish along the borders, um, who may be crossing. For instance, down in Laredo, you have individuals coming across from Venezuela and all these areas. So the new posters that I put on my different channels today, they're in different languages. But like I said, I haven't been able to post the Spanish version or a couple other ones because we've been doing a lot of traveling, and it is so hard. Those little tiny silver screws that we put in the walls, it is so hard to get those in there. But most of my counterparts did that for me, so I'm really happy about that. But we're just getting out the new flyers. We're going to hold our meeting this week, probably through Monday, and we're going to go from there and see what else we need to do internationally in the European countries. So that is what we have been doing all week, posting international domestic flyers for sex and domestic trafficking of all human beings. We did post a lot of missing persons flyers on the way up here, but unfortunately, since some of those are being taken down, we are not posting the locations of those anymore because, everyone has their own idea about different missing persons. So we're not posting all the locations for those. And that's basically what we're doing all week. And then, so by September 1st, there will be a drone meeting. It's in the central part of the States. And that'll be a 3-week training period. So we'll have the drone team. But up here in DC, you cannot fly a drone where we're staying. Here's how high the buildings are. Very high. All the buildings are very high up here in DC. And like I said, you have it's locked down every place. And me, I like to be outside, so. But anyway, that's what we've been up to. If it was up to me, I would have those posters made and be available at every rest stop for people just to pick up, or truck plaza in America, so people could take them with them for free. But collared flyers cost a lot of money, and some organizations, even if they're governmental, they don't want to pay to just have them available to the public. Some of them are not out on websites yet. I don't know whether they're going to be available on websites. But the one I loaded on Facebook, you guys can make a copy of it if you want, and you can post it wherever. And that's from the Labor Department. So, the Interior Labor Department. But those are the type of things we've been posting the last week. The sad situation is if the missing Amber Alerts, they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good. And the Missing American Persons organization is good. But sometimes government agencies and nonprofits, they're middleman person or woman that is a go-between, somehow misses a communication, and it's very frustrating for the the family members of these missing persons. And I think that is a big problem with a lot of the government agencies that work with nonprofits, because the United States Interior uh, Office, who handles the sex trafficking and the labor trafficking, they need to become more. They need to be seen more to the victims of families, adults and children who are missing, and they need to have more of a presence in the United States for these parents to talk to. And a lot of the missing are labeled as kidnapped, which they are if they are pulled off of the area, pulled off the street, pulled out of their home for sex trafficking or labor trafficking. They are kidnapped. But if we had more of a public view from some of the government organizations in different regions, let's say that we broke up the United States in 6 to 8 regions, and we had a small satellite office where family members could come and speak to a representative of the Department of Interior, then perhaps it wouldn't be as frustrating for some of the family members of the kidnapped individuals. But that, I don't see that happening within the next 36 to 72 months, because that's a lot to ask for. Just the fact that you're getting national attention with new flyers and new posters and things like that, I mean, that's a big accomplishment. But honestly, I think everyone involved, if you look at the whole scenario, everyone is trying to do everything they can with what they can do for all children. So, hello everyone. So, it's important for all of us to realize one thing. Every life matters. It doesn't matter whether it's someone you know, someone you don't know. It doesn't matter whether you support everyone or whether you just support one person. But let's be honest. Every share of a poster, flyer, video, every acknowledgement from PD stations, local, investigative State Bureau of Investigations, Border Patrol, DOJ, Department of Interior references to kidnapped victims who are sexually trafficked internationally and within the United States, and victims' families, and then your nonprofit organizations, and let us not forget all the police departments at the airports, because they do have a section for missing persons, individuals. They're posted. Let's not forget that there are a lot of Americans, there are a lot of countries internationally working together to bring their people home. And it doesn't matter your race, your economic status, your educational status. It doesn't matter. It happens to everyone. And that is the reason why it's so important that we educate ourselves on the protection of our loved ones and ourselves. Because you may know something I have no idea about for safety protocols. You may know something about the underground that I don't know about. You know, we're always learning. And some of the people we met with earlier, midsection last week, Wednesday and Thursday, they had a lot of knowledge We came away from a meeting the other day with a lot of knowledge. Common sense knowledge that most people wouldn't think about. But we're just going to try to see what we can do with more waterways, because waterways, honestly, we do have our Coast Guard, and yes, there are pockets where there's all kinds of protection for individuals who are trafficked on the waterways. But let's be truthful. When it comes to international waterways, there is no protection. It depends on where the jurisdiction of the country involved. And often when it comes to jurisdiction of waterways, I mean, a lot of people fall through the cracks because a particular country may not want to get involved, and our particular FBI agency, sometimes they can't get involved. It depends on what country, what waterway, and what international border you're involved with. Even on cruises, it's the same thing. Or you have yachts where people travel abroad from the United States and the waterways overseas, and it's just crazy what happens to some of these people. The other thing we were doing last week is we were looking at the new oxidation waterways for these AI hubs. We visited 2 sites on Friday up in the Ohio Valley. My goodness. The water hub itself, it was destroyed, and it took out 200 homes in a small city. And a lot of those people, they do not have flood insurance. And although it was not a natural disaster, it flooded their homes. And so 200 people are without homes now. Their homes are destroyed. And honestly, when I go back through, I'll stop and see what they have done in a week. But what happens when that happens is the wastewater. This is in the Ohio Valley. So back in the day, Union Carbide and Shell, they had plants along the Kanawha River, the Muskingum River, and all that, and they destroyed the waterways in Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland. I mean, it was terrible. A lot of people died. And with these AI water systems that they need to cool the computers, the large computers, the warehouses, some of the water is not safe once it leaks into the gray. It's called gray water. And once it leaks into your drinking water, I mean, it's not good. And that's exactly what happened in the Ohio Valley this past weekend. And on top of that, they had 2 tornadoes touch down. It was crazy. So sometimes you have to look at the legislative bodies of some of these states, and you're like, are you doing this again just for the money? How about your residents? How about the people of the Ohio Valley that's already went through 40 years of suffering? I mean, what do you do for these people? Is the quick fix of money for technology, is it worth that much that you're willing to give up? That you're willing to give up the residency health? And it's sad. But, we can only do what we can do, and that's it. So whatever you guys do the rest of the week, make sure that you have safety precautions for yourself. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to take a little walk around this park. This is actually a park. They have a gym right there. And this is actually a park. It says no dog park, and they have, it's really nice. They have a, this is downtown, and they have picnic tables. But look how tall those buildings are. Very tall. Very quiet here to be in DC. This is this, so I showed you the buildings to the right. The buildings to the left, they're tall also. Let me show you. And actually, where I'm at right now, it's called the Pentagon City. Let me show you. See where it says Pentagon City? This whole area is in a safety zone for near the Pentagon. So, and then the parkway continues down this way. And look at this. They have the central green area. They have an overlook, a forest walk, a children's garden, and a community garden. And once again, you have more high rises. The Pentagon is not that far from here. This area here is very close to the Pentagon. A lot of these buildings around here are owned by the Pentagon. So a lot of military and government employees have IDs to stay here. But I wanted to show you all something real quick. Let's walk through here. The children's, hear how quiet it is? You can hear the crickets. They have, over here at the children's gardens, you see those wooden slacks right there? They actually have flowers. You can hear the dogs. You actually have flowers growing on this. Here's the corner of the sun. Look how green the grass is. They have open, on the weekends they have open courts here where they have music. They have a little fountain walkway over here with flowers. Just walk up this way, I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's your Coliseum column. It's only open in the daytime, maybe. Yeah, it's locked tonight. I would show you what it looks like inside. That particular column goes all the way up. It's been here since the 1700s. But you can see, if you've never been to DC before, this is what it looks like. Tomorrow we're going to, after I get done in the afternoon, I'm going to go to 2 Smithsonians, and I'm going to videotape it. The ones I was thinking about is the Aviation Smithsonian and the Smithsonian of the dinosaurs. But if you guys would like to see all that, if not, that's okay too. I still have to finish uploading those other videos where we went to a mom and pop place the other day. They even have some nice flowers here. But anyway, that's what I'm doing up here in DC. I'm giving my 2 cents at a meeting in the morning concerning international trafficking. And then in the fall, I go back overseas. So, for a while to work with the international people for the waterways. But hopefully, Texas, the research and the search team will continue to look for some of the missing, and I know that they have done their diligence, and I know they found several this month, and they're quiet about it for the privacy of the victims and their families, and that's just the way it's done. So, but I want to thank everyone who posts flyers and who gets out within their community and speaks their mind about protecting children and missing adults. It's wonderful that you're doing that for your own communities and for other individuals that you don't even know. And kudos to everyone who's doing that, because it's so important in the world that we live in that you take the time to remember others need help. And so I can't say thank you enough, because you should be proud of yourselves that you're able to do that. You want to do that, or you want to help in any way you can, because that's important. And you know, when you're doing stuff like that, you have to once in a while get away from it. You have to take a day or two just for yourself and your family. Unless if your children are grown or whatever, you don't have no kids and you have a lot of time on your hands, then you can do whatever. But never forget, self-care is very important. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then you cannot help other individuals. And it's not about clicks. It's not about money. It's not about views. Because honestly, how much is a life worth? I mean, if you actually put a price tag on a life, how much is one life more than the next life? You can't do that. It's unkind. It's unfair. Everyone's life matters. And everyone deserves the same kindness, respect, dignity, no matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you came from. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter the position of family members. What matters is that all human beings' lives matter. What matters is everyone gets a chance to be heard and posted. That flyer is posted. What matters is if you say, hey, I'm out here for the missing, that you do not tell someone else, hey, I'm not willing to do that. I'm only for these 2 or 3. I mean, you could be that way. But let's be honest. If you're only for 2 or 3 missing individuals, then how are you going to stabilize your own information and state, I'm for everyone? If you can't walk the walk and post a variety of flyers, no matter where you are, if you're unwilling to support other individuals who have family members missing, and you've already done that before, that's already happened to you before, if you're not willing to support everyone, then how can you ask anyone to support or give support to your missing person? I mean, you have to be open. You have to be willing to share. You have to show everyone dignity. I mean, that's life. And that's the way it should be. Everyone deserves dignity. Everyone deserves respect. And as for the grieving process, well, let's just be truthful. Grieving a murdered family member or a kidnapped person, or when they disappear, the grieving process is different for everyone. I mean, you could have someone that was murdered right in front of your eyes, let's say 19 years ago. Okay? Should you be over that in 5 or 7 years? No. Because everyone's different, especially if it was a child, or it was a spouse, or it was a parent. I mean, or identical twin. I mean, grief is different for everyone. But the mannerism in which you deal with your grief after the regular process, the 6 processes with grief, the stages, that's what matters. How do you deal with the stages of grief after the 6th stage? You can be self-centered and go inward and think of yourself, or you can be a productive member and help those that you can and share your story in a productive way and live the walk. Hey, I'm here for whoever needs help. And you have to do that walk every day. I mean, you can't be wishy-washy. You cannot straddle the fence and say, well, I'm going to do it 3 days out of the week, and the rest of the other 4 days, I'm going to be just selfish. You can't do that. That's not fair to those individuals that you say, I will help. Because if you tell a victim's family, I am going to help, and you're not willing to go all the way, and you're going to be wishy-washy, you might as well not even tell them you're going to participate in the beginning. I mean, it's not worth it. You're just going to cause them more pain and anguish. So, but anyway, that's what I've been up to. And please be safe. Today is Wednesday. The weekend is fast approaching. No matter where you are or what you're doing, safety is number 1 priority. Kindness to yourself and one other person. And whoever you support in life, I wish you the best. And like I said, kudos to all of you for doing whatever you can for whoever you choose to do it for. It's very important. Congratulations. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.